Welcome back to another episode of the What We're Watching podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jeni, and today we're talking about How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
The 2000 version with Jim Carrey, the live-action Grinch.
Okay, I love this Grinch. This is my favorite one.
This is your favorite one, okay?
Yes, but I want to say it's your least favorite one. Am I correct?
I don't know if it's my least favorite. It's probably my second favorite. So if we have like the original classic animated one with the creepy Grinch smile, that's like all I can ever think of.
Oh,
and
really?
Like, creepy smiles with like all the wrinkles on his face. And then we have this one, and then we have the Benedict Cumberbatch one.
Uh-huh.
The Benedict Cumberbatch one is by far my favorite.
Okay. I heard it's really good, but I haven't seen it.
You have to watch it this year.
Okay.
It is so good. It has become like it's in my family's top 3 rotation. So every year we watch Elf, Eloise at Christmas Time, and that Grinch. It is must.
That says a lot because it was like a 2018 movie, so it's very modern.
Yes, it's one of the remakes where you would think that it wasn't going to be good, and I love it. I think it's so much better.
Oh my gosh, that's good to hear. I love that.
You guys will have to tell us which Grinch is your favorite.
Yeah, please do.
This is our last Christmas movie of the season.
I'm so sad, kind of.
I know.
We're releasing this a little bit early for you guys so that you have time to listen to it before Christmas comes and, yeah, just get in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, I hope this keeps you company like while you're wrapping presents or like traveling to visit family or something fun. Something festive.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed listening to the podcast this year, make sure you leave us a review wherever you're listening and follow us on Instagram at What We're Watching Pod because we do lots of fun polls over there and we love messaging with you guys.
Yes, many more to come in 2025.
The synopsis for this movie is, in this live-action adaptation of the beloved children's tale by Dr. Seuss, the reclusive Green Grinch decides to ruin Christmas for the cheery citizens of Whoville. Reluctantly joined by his hapless dog Max, the Grinch comes down from his mountaintop home and sneaks into town to swipe everything holiday-related from the Whos. However, the bitter Grump finds a hitch in his plans when he encounters the endearing Cindy Lou Who.
I think what I love about this movie is it's just so weird.
It is weird.
It's unhinged, actually.
It is unhinged, which makes it really fun. It's like actually a really entertaining movie, even when you've seen it a million times, which I have.
Yeah, me too. And the older I get, the more jokes I catch. It just gets funnier to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I have a friend, one of my best friends from college that I lived with for a few years, Frances, who does an incredible Grinch impersonation.
Wait.
My sister Emma actually does a pretty good one too. And so I can't watch this movie without just thinking about, we used to watch this movie together and she would stand up next to the TV and she would do every one of his lines in the Grinch voice as it was happening. It's so funny.
That's so funny. I love that. Have you seen the Grinch people at Universal? I think it's at Universal.
No, I haven't.
You can like go talk to the Grinch and...
Wait, I have done that.
Oh, you have? You in person?
Yes.
How was it?
I have like waited in line for like the meet and greet.
Yes, that.
And done the meet and greet with him. Yeah.
Where he's like in character and the actors that they choose are so good.
Yeah.
And the makeup is just like Jim Carrey's makeup in this movie and they literally could be Jim Carrey.
Universal is no joke. They go all out.
Yeah. I know that it's going to start coming up on my TikTok For You page in the next week or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a really good job. So like we said, this movie came out in 2000, and it's based on Dr. Seuss's 1957 children's book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's actually the second adaptation of the book, because the first is that 1966 animated TV special that we talked about.
That was a TV special. Interesting.
Yeah, it's only like 30 minutes or 20-something minutes.
Really?
It's very short and very cute.
Oh my gosh. In my head, it was a full-length movie, but I have definitely not seen it since I was a little kid.
When I was a kid, it was movie length to me as well.
Yeah.
And I remember being shocked when I found out it was only a half-hour special. I think you need to revisit it because I actually think that's my favorite Grinch. It's just so classic.
The first one. Okay. I need to rewatch it. I didn't realize it was that short.
Yeah, and I used to watch it every Christmas. It's just so cute. While Dr. Seuss was alive, he declined all offers to sell the film rights to his books. But when he died, his widow, Audrey Geisel, started exploring merch deals. And she auctioned off the film rights for The Grinch, but it had very, very strict terms. One of those terms was that $5 million had to be paid up front. Honestly, slay, Audrey.
Slay.
Any actor considered for the role of the Grinch had to be of a similar stature to Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey.
What a weird stipulation.
I think basically Audrey was like, if you do this movie, it has to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It has to have someone really famous carrying the movie.
Oh, is that what that means by stature?
Oh, yes, not height.
Okay, I was thinking physicality-wise, which I bet Adam Sandler is actually way shorter than Jim Carrey. I feel like Jim Carrey is really tall, so that would not make sense.
That's hilarious.
In my head, I was like, they want like a comedian bod. That's what they're asking for.
They want the Grinch to be wearing Adam Sandler attire. That's hilarious. I think they meant.
They want an A-list person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think there were a few other names thrown around that were kind of funny, but I did not list them here. And then only directors or writers who had previously earned at least $1 million on a project were eligible to participate in the auction for the film rights. Very strict.
Yeah, you're right. She's just like, this will be an A-list movie. By gosh. And she did it.
Yeah, and I'm sure she got hella royalties from it.
Mm-hmm.
So she really set herself up and like her future generations for like the rest of her life, I'm sure.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah. The movie ended up being directed by Ron Howard. He was originally uninterested, but then became intrigued by Cindy Lou's character and kind of wanted to expand her role and the Grinch's backstory. Before he was involved, Tim Burton was actually approached to direct, but he declined due to a scheduling conflict with Sleepy Hollow. Dr. Seuss's wife, Audrey, had significant control over the script, and she rejected a lot of inappropriate jokes, which is funny because I think a lot of inappropriate jokes still made it.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
But yeah, she had kind of a say on the outcome of everything. And the script went through 8 revisions, and the writers from Seinfeld actually contributed to an uncredited rewrite of the script.
Okay, wow. Yeah, it's so comedy heavy.
Yeah.
I'm realizing reading this. I mean, obviously it is a comedy, and I kind of always just attributed how comedic it is to the fact that they cast Jim Carrey. But no, all the way through, from like who she wanted to play the Grinch to who they had writing the script, all of it.
And she must have a good sense of humor, because if she had such a heavy hand on the script and this is what it is, I feel like she probably just vetoed stuff that she felt like was too far, you know?
Yeah. I also love that Ron Howard directed this. He is very famous. Also the father of Bryce Dallas Howard, if you know her. She's the redheaded actress who was in the Jurassic World movies with Chris Pratt.
Oh, yep,
you would
yep,
recognize her for sure.
She reminds me of, oh my gosh, she reminds me of so many redhead actresses. They all kind of blend to me. Jessica Chastain.
Yes, they look a lot alike.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas was actually the second highest grossing holiday film of all time, right behind Home Alone.
Wow.
Why do our episodes always tie together so well?
They do. Definitely check out our Home Alone episode. Also, if you haven't listened to it, that was a really fun one.
Yeah, we just did it last week, so it's fresh. So it was the second highest grossing holiday film behind Home Alone until the 2018 animated version of The Grinch was released, and that one did even better.
That is all you need to know, people. Go watch that version.
So basically, is it Home Alone, the 2018 Grinch, and then How the Grinch Stole Christmas 2000? Are those the top 3 Christmas movies of all time?
Must be.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy if true.
I'm a little surprised that the Santa Claus isn't in there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it's like top 5 or top 10.
I bet its popularity is really high, but maybe it just didn't make as much money.
Yeah.
This I thought was interesting. The set of Whoville was constructed on the Universal Studios backlot. And I remember this. You actually used to be able to visit it at Universal Studios on the backlot tour, which was my favorite part of Universal.
That's very cool.
That's my ride, because it's not a ride. You just get to sit in the car for like an hour and learn about all these movie sets and stuff. And you used to be able to drive through Whoville, and it was like right behind Bates Motel, I think. So it was interesting.
Cool.
But in 2020, it was demolished, and it was replaced with picture cars, which is the cars from different movies, which they've always had. I guess they just changed the location. And I was originally really sad about this, but then I learned that it's probably because the Whoville set wasn't built to withstand the elements beyond production, and it required a lot of repaints and touch-ups, and they were tired of it. I want to say some of the stuff was made out of styrofoam, so
yeah, 20 years is a long time.
that would be a pain to keep up with
Yeah.
for like an old movie.
But very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, should we get into the cast?
Let's do it.
Let's start with Jim Carrey, who plays the Grinch.
I don't even need to say this, but you know him from Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, Liar Liar, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Bruce Almighty, The Truman Show, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which I know a lot of you guys like. He also is the voice of Horton in the other Dr. Seuss adaptation, Horton Hears a Who.
Wow, big Dr. Seuss guy.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. I don't know if I've seen Horton Hears a Who, actually.
I don't think I have either, but I do think it's kind of funny to think that that is in the same universe as The Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Who's are so tiny.
Yeah. I bet I would like it because I love the Lorax.
Oh, yep. Jim Carrey realized that he could do impressions at age 8. He is the king of impressions.
He is.
He was born in Canada, and he and his family were actually homeless for a time while he was a teenager, which is really sad.
Wow.
That's the second actor that we've talked about in the past month, I think, who experienced homelessness.
Yep.
Jenna Malone was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, his family lived in a VW van, and he and his brother lived in a tent in Charles Daly Park. And when his dad got a job at a factory, they were all able to find a home. And Jim and his brother worked really long shifts as janitors and security guards during that time.
Wow. Hollywood is so interesting because there are so many actors that come from these really difficult upbringings and just sort of like pick themselves up, which is remarkable that they didn't say like, let me just take something secure because I don't have security. Instead, they just sort of went, I'm projecting this, I'm just assuming, but like, I feel like the psychology of that must be like, I have no stability already. Let me like maybe the prospect of Hollywood and the high failure rate of that, or not making money for a long time just isn't as scary maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then you have all of the Nepo babies on the other hand.
Yeah.
It's a wild range.
I love hearing about the backstories of people and kind of getting to dive into it a little more on the podcast because it does give me an interesting perspective on certain people that I just didn't know where they came from beforehand. And then to see like their work ethic and how they ended up here is really interesting.
Same. This is, I feel like, where a lot of the interest in doing the podcast came for me, because anytime I would see a movie or show that I loved, and I still do this, the second I get out of it, I am Googling the people in it, who they're married to, how they got into Hollywood, how old they are, how old they were when they started acting, what other projects they did, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to know everything about the people in it. So I love when we talk about people like this. It's fun.
Yeah, you guys have probably heard us talk about it a million times, but that's basically why we started the podcast, or how we got the idea for it in the first place, is we were like always going to movies together or watching shows, or we'd be like, oh, have you seen that show? And then I feel like while we would be with a big group of people, you and I would be like, oh, and did you know this about this person in this and how they're connected to this and they're also in this thing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we would just get so nerdy about it. And we were like, man, we just need time, just the two of us, to just do that.
Yes, to just do the nerdy thing that we already do all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So back to Jim Carrey. He dropped out of school on his 16th birthday and started doing comedy while working.
Wow.
I know. And when he was 18 or 19, he auditioned for SNL, but didn't get it. He actually auditioned for SNL 3 times in 6 years as his comedy career grew, and he still didn't get it.
That shocks me, because he seems like the most perfect candidate for SNL.
And now he's hosted SNL multiple times. He's been in skits.
And just being a comedian that's so good at impressions and like is such a famous now character actor because he just transforms himself. That would have been such an asset to the show, I think.
Yeah. Although, am I right to think there is like a trademark Jim Carrey impression? There's like a character I think of that's just Jim Carrey being wild. And that's like him in every single one of his movies, except for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Like in SNL, you have to be all of these different characters. You have to be like the nerdy guy. You have to be like this and that. And Jim Carrey is so animated with everything he does. And I feel like that became kind of his trademark, is like Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, like all of these things. He's like same character, different
costume.
Yeah, or like different tone.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, actually. That reminds me a lot of what I believe it's Aaron Sorkin that says, like, he wants to be the other character in the room. You know, so every time you're watching something that is Aaron Sorkin, you know that it's Aaron Sorkin because he has such a fingerprint on it. And I feel like Jim Carrey is that way, where like it is always Jim Carrey. It's
Yeah.
always going to be the Jim Carrey that you know, even if it is also the Grinch or even if it is also this other character. So
Yeah.
that does make sense. It might have been a little bit larger than life for what they were looking for.
But in this, I mean, it's kind of great because he is in the craziest costume ever in this movie. And for us
Yeah.
to still know that's Jim Carrey, for everyone to know that's Jim Carrey, yeah, it just makes sense. I couldn't see anyone else doing this role.
Mm-mm.
So, about the Grinch costume, it was designed by Rick Baker and it was made of yak hair that was dyed green and sewn onto a spandex suit.
No, 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 absolutely no. No. No, 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 no. I cannot accept.
You don't like that it was just like a hairy spandex?
I don't like that it was actual hair or that it was on spandex. The idea of putting on a spandex suit that's covered in hair makes me want to die. Oh my God.
Well, it made Jim Carrey want to die too. This is actually like a big theme when I look up Jim Carrey in The Grinch. His relationship with this costume is strenuous. So it took 2.5 hours to apply every day. And Carrey said that wearing the costume was like being buried alive.
Oh my God. Oh no.
I know.
I'm never going to be able to watch this the same. Like it was like being buried alive.
Yeah, he was miserable.
Why in my head was I like, that must feel like you're in a onesie, like footy pajamas.
Yeah. It seems like it would be comfortable, but then I'm thinking about like the face paint and the yellow contacts in his eyes, and I'm like, ooh, actually, I bet it felt gross and heavy.
And I'm sure he had so many prosthetics on underneath the spandex suit. So you're just like sealed in with like stuff touching you all over your body. That's a lot.
But you couldn't tell by watching the movie because he does it so well.
Oh, yak hair. I'm sorry.
She can't let go.
Okay, I'm sorry. We can move on.
Yeah, what do they do? Shave it? Just shave a yak? How did they find this?
Probably multiple yaks.
How many yaks does it take to make a Grinch?
And then dyed it. Yeah, okay. We can move on.
Do you think they did the individual hairs or did they have like a pelt?
Oh my God. Like, did they transplant hairs onto the spandex suit? Or a pelt? Yeah, I can't. No.
Okay.
No.
All right, we'll move on. Sorry.
I can't be talking about a yak pelt.
Apparently, Jim Carrey was really difficult to work with on set because he was so irritable about this suit, and he would often disappear during shoots and delay production. He also kicked a hole in the wall of his trailer, and it made his makeup artist, Kazuhiro, quit, but she came back after he agreed to control his temper. He had like a sit down with like Ron Howard and the producers and stuff, and they were like, hey, you gotta rein it in. And so then they set him up with a consultant that trained him in methods for enduring torture. Like basically a meditation person that helped him.
Sorry, my brain is just exploding inside. Because it's not cool for him to act that way. Obviously, that's not acceptable ever. And that must be something that's common on Hollywood sets also. Like somebody being a diva and punching a hole in a wall and a makeup artist quitting.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that they had to hire somebody who could train him in how to withstand torture so that he can wear this fucking costume is crazy.
I'm like, did it have to be that bad? Like, could they have made it any more comfortable or I don't know.
Yeah, they must have been able. I mean, people do. Actually, I guess I'm trying to think of like a comparable costume, and I can't think of one because anything that is so full body like that, well, nowadays especially, is done with CGI.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Cynthia Erivo got to set 3 hours early extra to be able to get the green makeup put on her because she didn't want it to be CGI. She wanted it to be the actual. She wanted to be able to like look in the mirror and be green.
Mm-hmm.
But being painted green is different than being in a suit.
Probably still terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure it was super uncomfortable and the time commitment is crazy. I think she said it was 3 hours to get it on and 2.5 to get it off or something.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a lot of extra effort. But the idea of doing that and being inside a spandex suit, death.
in California.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So he's done a ton of stuff since The Grinch, but in April 2022, he announced that he was considering retirement, and he said, "I have enough, I've done enough, I am enough." He said he would return if he were offered a script that he felt would be really important for people to see. I thought that quote was funny because I did see that he has a movie coming out either this year or next year that's reprising his role in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Money speaks, baby.
I know, it must be really important for people to see. So I don't know if they, recorded that way before he said this too. I have no idea how long it takes for an animated
That's true.
movie.
An animated movie takes years. I like the sentiment of that because I don't think you hear that a lot from actors just being like, yeah, I'm good. I did the thing and I have enough money and I think I'm good.
Yeah, people in regular everyday jobs retire or like often say, I can't wait till I don't have to do this job anymore. And so it is kind of like interesting because in Hollywood, I feel like it doesn't happen as much. Like people just go and go and go.
I also just think the retirement just means something different to that class of people, Like I think for most everyday people, you're trying to get to a retirement as in like you're trying to get to this financial state where you don't have to work anymore. Whereas most people in Hollywood could do that. Not most people in Hollywood, sorry, but these big stars could do that after one movie. Yeah. If you lived within your means, obviously.
True.
So I think it just means something different to them. And we don't need them to announce it. Because like if they change their mind in 5 years, cool. We only see them every few years anyway. So like,
True.
But I do appreciate the sentiment of him coming out and being like, yeah, I don't need anything else. Because you don't hear that a lot from celebs. So that's cool.
True.
Okay, should we talk about Taylor Momsen, who plays Cindy Lou Who?
Yes, please. She is the Tumblr grunge girl, I feel like.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Do you remember her from... Oh, okay.
I don't know her. I know her as this only.
Can you Google her just real quick? Just take 1 second.
Oh my God.
Are you seeing it? The heavy makeup?
So confused. I'm so confused. Okay. For the listener, I just Googled Taylor Momsen. I would encourage you to do this. And it's all photos of her like on stage or on red carpets, like in all black with dark, dark black makeup all the way around her eyes and this like in bleached blonde hair.
Yep.
This is not what I was expecting.
And she's been known for that look for, oh my gosh, I want to say like 15 years maybe, because I remember when this look was cool and she was like the icon of it, like when you're looking up grunge, she is the one who would come up.
Yep. She kind of gives me Ashley Simpson vibes a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. It's the shaggy haircut, I think.
Yeah, it's very 2010s Tumblr girl. You're totally right. Which I loved that aesthetic. So I'm surprised that I didn't know who this is, but I had no idea.
And she still has that look. I think she's kept a pretty consistent look throughout her career, which is rare, I think. It was not a phase, Mom. It was her.
It was not a phase, Mom. It was really her.
But when you look on her Instagram, she also has a lot of like very down-to-earth photos of her with no makeup on. So it's just kind of interesting.
Cool.
Most people know her from this movie and from the show Gossip Girl. And she's also in the band The Pretty Reckless. She's the lead singer. I thought this was a crazy fact. She actually auditioned for the main role in Hannah Montana, but Miley Cyrus got it.
I can actually totally see that. I could totally see that.
Little kid her. Definitely. And she has the voice, obviously.
Yeah.
I found this quote from her. She said, "My parents signed me up with Ford Modeling at the age of 2. No 2-year-old wants to be working, but I had no choice. My whole life, I was in and out of school. I didn't have friends. I was working constantly, and I didn't have a real life."
That makes me sad.
I know. I feel like maybe this is controversial, but I don't really agree that kids should even work at all. Like, I don't think they should act. I don't think they should model unless they're like a Dakota Fanning who's like, I love this and I want to do this,
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's so tricky. It's so tricky because there are kids like a Dakota Fanning. Like, I was like this. Like, at age 5, I was like, Mom, please take me to this audition so that I can be Junie B. Jones in this movie. But I just think it's so exploitative. It so easily becomes about the parents, becomes about the other adults in the room in Hollywood in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it.
No, me neither. If you're 2 years old, I mean, you really are not interested.
Mm-hmm.
You know, poor Taylor. She was actually bullied a lot for her role as Cindy Lou Who in this movie. And she said that every time she started at a new school, she would be called Grinch Girl.
Aww. I would have thought this was so cool.
I would have been like, oh my gosh, she's Cindy Lou Who. I love her.
Is that just because we're nerdy
Theater
movie
kids?
people? Yeah.
Theater kids, but me without the theater.
I'd have been like, be my best friend.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. And she said it felt really alienating. I think that it depends. Okay, because you and I grew up in the suburbs of Atlanta, and I imagine your school was similar to mine, where like you would be a star. If she walked through the door, everyone would want to be her friend.
Mm-hmm.
But if she was trying to go to school in like LA, I'm sure they see this all the time and they're like, oh yeah, that girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep, that's a really good point.
I have a friend who went to arts high school in Southern California, and she would tell me stories like while she was in school there about, oh yeah, my friend's doing this show, my friend's doing The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Yeah, I just think it's like a different culture maybe. I don't know where she was going to school, but...
You're right, but if she was working and changing schools a bunch because she was working, I bet it was in California.
Yeah, or I guess she could have been in other locations too, but yeah, that's sad though.
Ugh, kids are mean.
I know. She said, literally, as soon as I got to an age where I could make my own decision, it was like a click. I don't know exactly what happened, but it was like I woke up one morning and went, wait a second, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this other job. I can just play in my band and I can tour and write songs. It was like a light bulb went off and I uprooted and changed my whole life kind of overnight.
Oh, good for her.
And I believe that's why she left Gossip Girl, or they like really worked with her to make her schedule a lot lighter in the later seasons that she was in, and that was how she was able to kind of make her dreams come true.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, let's touch on Josh Ryan Evans, who plays the young Grinch.
I had never heard of him before. Had you?
No, but I actually do love the baby Grinch.
I love young Grinch. I love baby Grinch. Who's like CGI or a puppet or something. I don't really know.
Yes. I am talking about kid Grinch, like little boy Grinch.
Even when I was a kid, I remember watching this movie when it came out, and I loved Kid Grinch. I loved his whole storyline. You know how you were talking about how the animated 30-minute thing felt like a whole movie to you?
Yeah.
The kid parts of the Grinch movie felt like a movie to me.
Yeah.
But I just remember all of the kid parts and feeling like it was this whole fully fleshed story, even though maybe it only takes like 5 to 10 minutes of the whole movie.
But I love that they did that. I love that they gave him a backstory. I think that's so fun.
Me too. And I love his backstory.
Especially now that I'm... Like, I knew that the backstory was a new addition, but I'm realizing how much of this movie would have been new content.
Yeah.
Considering the children's book is so short, and if the original animated TV special was only like 30 minutes.
It was just a rereading of the book, from what I remember.
Okay, yeah. They're coming up with a whole hour of extra content, and they did such a great job. Like, this is like the classic story in my head, so...
Yeah, it's so creative.
Ugh, I love that.
So Josh Ryan Evans was an actor with achondroplasia. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but it's a form of dwarfism. And he often played young children and was most well known for the role of Timmy in the soap opera Passions, which he actually won awards for. He was about 18 when he played the 8-year-old Grinch, and he passed away in 2002 at the age of 20, so very shortly after this movie, which is very sad.
Yeah, wow.
While undergoing surgery for a heart condition. While this is like very sad, there is a weird coincidence with his death. His character Timmy on Passions also died, and that episode aired the same day that Josh Ryan Evans passed away.
Whoa.
Pure coincidence.
That is a glitch. A glitch in the Matrix. That's crazy.
Because they would have filmed that like way before, you know?
Wow. I mean, all of this is heartbreaking, obviously.
I know.
But that's a wild coincidence.
Yeah. And his character was actually intended to become an angel on the soap opera after his death, so he was supposed to be kind of a recurring character still, but then they had to rewrite it after his passing, which is sad.
Well, I think he did such a fabulous job in this movie. I think there's a reason that we find his character so endearing and lovable. And part of that is the story, and part of that is definitely his performance. So I'm happy we talked about him.
I know, his legacy will live on. He was a very good actor. I wish we had seen him in more stuff and that he hadn't tragically passed, but I'm so glad we could talk about him today.
Me too. Okay, should we get into the movie recap?
Let's do it.
So the movie opens, we zoom in on a snowflake, and the narrator says, "Inside a snowflake, like the one on your sleeve, there happened a story you must see to believe." And then we see the town of Whoville, where all the Whos are preparing for Christmas, their favorite holiday.
Cindy Lou Who, played by Taylor Momsen, and her dad are shopping for their family's Christmas gifts, and Cindy Lou asks her dad from a pile of presents if this seems like a bit much. He says, "This is what Christmas is all about."
The narrator says, "Yes, every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not." And then we see some teenagers that are exploring the Grinch's mountain, Mount Crumpet. And they go to the Grinch's door and he scares them off with this big robot monster. And then the Grinch grumbles about how he doesn't like the Yuletide loving cheermongers, and he bites right into an onion like it's an apple. This is such an iconic visual.
Why does that come up in conversation for me a lot?
Just biting into an onion.
Yeah.
The Grinch says, "Max, get my cloak," to his dog Max. I love Max.
I love Max. Poor Max.
The Grinch makes the comment that he's been too tolerant with the Whovenile delinquents.
Like juvenile delinquent.
And so he's going down to Whoville. This is like, uh-oh, kids, daddy's coming. He's like, I gotta go down there and show him who's boss.
I loved that voice.
I don't know, that was like my redneck dad voice.
In Whoville, the Grinch wears his cloak and a mask, and he pranks the town. He does a bunch of crazy little pranks on everybody, like giving kids a saw to run with, or breathing his stinky breath in someone's face to make them pass out.
Then Cindy Lou's brothers come back from the Grinch's mountain frozen. They were the teenagers. And when their dad asks what happened, they say, "It was the Grinch." Everyone in Whoville hears this and stops what they're doing, and the mayor, Augustus May Who, who's played by Jeffrey Tambor from Arrested Development, he comes out and he reminds Cindy Lou's dad that this Christmas is the 1000th Whobilation, which is the most important celebration, and his boys shouldn't have been on Mount Crumpet provoking the creature who hates Christmas. Their dad covers for the boys and says that they didn't actually see the Grinch, and then the narrator tells us he thinks the Grinch hates Christmas because his heart is 2 sizes too small.
In the mailroom with her dad, Cindy asks about the Grinch, and her dad says he's not a who, he's a what, that doesn't like Christmas. Her dad leaves to help people with their mail, and the Grinch sneaks into the mailroom to mix up everyone's packages and give them jury duty and blackmail. That is another part of the movie that I always remember. He's like, jury duty, blackmail.
Yeah.
Cindy Lou goes into the mailroom and notices that something's wrong with the package sorting, and then the Grinch's mask falls to the ground in front of her, and we see that he and Max are hiding on the ceiling. Max sneezes, and the Grinch says, "Gesundheit," and then Cindy Lou and the Grinch both scream at each other. And she says, "You're the, and he says, the Grinch," and gets all evil and scary.
Then Cindy Lou falls into the mail sorting machine, and the Grinch is going to leave her, but Max bites him until he decides to actually help her, and she thanks him for saving her, and he decides to gift wrap her and leave her there.
Her dad unwraps her, and then he and Cindy Lou come home to her mom, Betty Lou Who, played by Molly Shannon from SNL.
I love Molly Shannon.
You do? What else is she in besides
She's
SNL?
She's in, most recently, White Lotus.
Which season?
I think the most recent season.
I think you're right, but I can't remember her for some reason. But yeah, she's in so many things. So Betty Lou is on the roof, and she's decorating the house with Christmas lights, and she says this is going to be the year that they have the most spectacular lights in Greater Whoville. It's very Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
And then the neighbor, Martha May Whovier, played by Christine Baranski from Mamma Mia. We have a whole episode on Mamma Mia where we talk about her, so definitely go check that out after this one. Martha May Whovier comes out in a Santa dress and shows off her new machine that shoots lights up on the house instantly, and Betty almost falls off the roof. She's so surprised.
This, to me, is one of the most memorable moments of the whole movie.
100%.
Every time I think about this movie, I think about this light shooter machine.
Yes. As a kid, I loved this. I also love Martha May. She's like my favorite character, I think.
Me too. We need a Martha May show. Give me a 30-minute special just on Martha May.
I would love a spin-off. Oh my gosh. Yes.
After a long day of pranking, the Grinch goes home through a trash chute called Dump It to Crumpet, and we learn more about where he and Max live. The mountain is full of Who trash, and the Grinch's cave has a lot of machines and contraptions in it that he's made. And you can tell he's just this kind of lonely and bored recluse, really. Even though he pretends that he's not. He pretends he's very happy with the situation.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Cindy Lou sits in her room and sings Where Are You Christmas? Iconic.
Oh, iconic.
While writing her list to Santa. The next day, she goes to interview two Who ladies, Clarnella and Rose, the Grinch's two adoptive mothers.
Are they together?
I think that it is implied, and it was as far as they were willing to go in 2000 in a kids' movie.
I see.
But yes, 100% lesbian couple. I'm very here for it.
Love it. Clarnella and Rose tell Cindy Lou the story of how the Grinch came to be. And we see these little Who babies in little baskets with umbrellas on them floating to their parents' doorsteps. So that is how Who babies come into the world.
I always think of this.
Yeah, it's so cute. And then one windy night, a baby Grinch gets knocked off course and lands at the lady's house, and they decide to keep him and raise him. And they say they always knew he was special. And then we see baby Grinch eat a ceramic Santa plate and say, Santa, bye-bye. He bites his head off. It's just so scary.
He's so cute.
But all I could think during this was I was okay, the Grinch was being delivered somewhere else, and then there was a storm that knocked him to Whoville. So does that mean somewhere out there's a whole village of Grinches where he was supposed to go? Because that breaks my heart.
This has plagued me my entire life, this question. Because I was okay, babies got switched for sure. Another one got knocked off course that was supposed to go to some Who. We saw them bump into each other.
Yeah, there's a baby who lived that's a recluse in the Grinch land.
Wait, we need that. We need it's like Tarzan.
Yeah.
We need that story of this little Who being raised by Grinches and being really grumpy and
My gosh, Ron Howard.
make it happen.
Make it happen, please.
That would be so cute. We flash forward to the Grinch in school, and the teacher tells them to bring a Christmas gift for a special someone tomorrow. And then Cindy Lou interviews Martha May Whovier in present day, who says that she hardly remembers the Grinch and was far too busy with her studies. But then we cut to young Martha May flirting with the Grinch. She's licking a lollipop. So we know that she's lying. We intercut with Cindy Lou interviewing the mayor, and he says that Martha was his girlfriend. And then we see the young mayor bullying the Grinch, and he says, "You don't have a chance with her. You're 8 years old and you have a beard."
So mean.
Mm-hmm.
Young Martha May tells the Grinch she loves Christmas, and the Grinch goes home and makes Martha May an angel tree topper for her Christmas tree. And this is his gift that he's going to bring to her in class. And then he gets self-conscious about his beard because of what the young mayor said. And so he shaves his face. And the next day at school, the Grinch is hiding with a paper bag on his head. And he gives Martha May her gift. And when the teacher makes him take the bag off of his head, we see that he cut himself all over his face while shaving. He has the little pieces of toilet paper that are sticking onto the cuts. And all of the kids in class make fun of him except for Martha May. And so the Grinch destroys her gift, declares he hates Christmas, and escapes to Mount Crumpet. And it was the last time that his moms ever saw him. And then we flash forward to the present day, and the Grinch stands at Mount Crumpet, just hating the Whos.
Sad.
Sad villain origin story.
This makes me even sadder. I found out that the jewels that Martha May is wearing in her hair while being interviewed in this scene are from the tree topper that the young Grinch made for her.
Oh.
I know, they're the same jewels, so it's implying that she still has feelings for him.
Cute.
I know. In Whoville, the mayor is taking nominations for the holiday cheermeister, and Cindy Lou says, "I nominate the Grinch." And everyone is so shocked by this. And she says she thinks that the cheermeister is supposed to go to the soul at Christmas who needs it most, and she believes that's the Grinch. She convinces everyone in Whoville that the Grinch should be cheermeister, and the mayor says fine, but he knows that the Grinch won't come down.
So Cindy Lou climbs Mount Crumpet to invite the Grinch herself. She crawls through his dog door into his lair, And he tries his hardest to scare her, but she just isn't fazed by it. And so she invites him to be holiday cheermeister, and he isn't interested until she says there's an award and that Martha May will be there. I think he's like, an award, which means that I won something, which means there's losers. And this is very exciting for him. And then he sends Cindy Lou back down the trash chute to Whoville.
In his lair, the Grinch reads his schedule and says, even if I wanted to go, my schedule wouldn't allow it. 4 o'clock, wallow in self-pity. 4:30, stare into the abyss. 5 o'clock, solve world hunger. Tell no one. 5:30, jazzercise. 6:30, dinner with me. I can't cancel that again. 7 o'clock, wrestle with my self-loathing. I'm booked. Of course, if I bump the loathing to 9 o'clock, I could still be done in time to lay in bed, stare at the ceiling, and slip slowly into madness. But what would I wear?
This is my favorite quote of the whole movie. It is the best.
Me too, and I did not do it justice, but like, why is it kind of relatable?
Yeah, it totally is. Especially if you're introverted like us. You get invited to one thing and you're like, no, I could not possibly make an hour-long coffee work. Nope, I'm booked. Totally booked.
Ruins my plans of doing absolutely nothing.
Ruins all the plans of thinking about what's in my head.
Then he steals lederhosen from a yodeler to wear, but he's still kind of stalling and flip-flopping back and forth whether or not he should go.
At the jubilation, the Grinch doesn't show to accept his reward, and the mayor isn't surprised. The Grinch is still stalling, so his dog Max pulls the rope and the Grinch falls into the trash chute to Whoville, and he shoots out of it into the jubilation ceremony and right onto Martha May. Then he tries to claim his award, but there are tons of traditional things he's supposed to do first, like judging multiple food contests, dancing in the conga line, and a Christmas sack race. And he hates it all at first, but then he kind of seems to embrace the attention and the competition because he's like kind of the special guest at all of these events. And also, we see that Martha May is definitely still into the Grinch.
The final event is a gift exchange, and the Grinch opens a razor, which is obviously from the mayor.
Rude. I hated this. This is such a bully move.
He is still a big bully. And the Grinch gets furious, and he has flashbacks to the kids all laughing at him and saying that he had a beard. Then the mayor proposes to Martha May with a huge diamond ring and a new car right in front of everybody, and she is speechless, but I would say not in a good way. She's kind of like, I don't know what to do here.
Mm-hmm.
And before she answers, the Grinch scratches her new car and throws a fit in front of everyone about what happens to everyone's Christmas gifts. They all end up in the garbage with the Grinch. He then shaves the mayor's head with the razor he gave him, which is such sweet vengeance. And then he burns the giant Christmas tree in town, and chaos just ensues with the Who's. Cindy Lou sadly tells her parents, I just wanted everybody to be there for Christmas.
Sweet Cindy Lou. The Grinch notices the Who's replacing the burned down Christmas tree with a backup, and he goes back to Mount Crumpet and gets upset thinking about the Who's celebrating Christmas. So he decides to stop Christmas from coming. The Grinch makes a Santa Claus hat and a coat, and You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch starts playing while he hatches this plan. You guys obviously know this song. And then he builds a sleigh and he dresses Max up like a reindeer.
In this scene, the Grinch is directing Max on how to act like a reindeer. And I found out that Jim Carrey actually improv'd this part, and he was making fun of the director Ron Howard and how he directed things. So he was imitating him.
That's really funny.
And Howard found the scene hilarious and decided to keep it. The Grinch waits until Santa is done delivering presents on Christmas Eve. Then he and Max ride the sleigh down to Whoville. Then he sneaks down Cindy Lou's chimney and steals all the Christmas decorations, the Who pudding, and the roast beast. As he starts stuffing the Christmas tree up the chimney, Cindy Lou comes out and asks, Santa Claus, what are you doing with our tree? And he tells her that a light doesn't work, so he's taking it back to his workshop to fix it. She asks him what Christmas is really about, and he says, vengeance. And then he says, presents. And Cindy Lou disappointedly says, I was afraid of that. And then before she goes back to bed, she asks Santa not to forget the Grinch.
Okay, I know that I'm the reality police. I feel like we both are every time we talk about a movie.
You have to be.
I just have never been able to understand this part of any of the movies because it's so obviously the Grinch.
Because he's green?
Yes. It's so clear that he's the Grinch. And for Cindy Lou and all of these to just be like, hi, Santa. It's like, no, that is not Santa. You know it's not. I don't know. It makes me nuts.
In the book, Cindy Lou is supposed to be no more than 2.
Right, which that's fair because she's teeny. She's a little baby.
But Cindy Lou is very smart in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there are more Grinches than just the Grinch. Whatever his species is, a what? He's a what, right? Maybe she thinks Santa is a what?
Maybe. Okay.
I'm trying to make this work.
Okay, I like this theory. Yeah. Give me anything that like makes it make sense.
She's like, oh, okay. I guess Santa is green. Cool.
Cool. Okay. I like that. Then the Grinch takes everything from every Who home in Whoville, including Martha May's new engagement ring. And when he tries to fly with all of the Who's stuff away on his sleigh, the sleigh runs out of fuel, so he gets poor Max to pull the sleigh up to the top of Mount Crumpet to dump all the stuff. The Grinch says everyone in Whoville will be waking up right about now, and they'll all cry. And he's like very excited that he's the one that got to ruin Christmas for them.
And then we see the sad Who's as they all find out that they've been robbed. And the mayor blames it all on the Grinch and tells Cindy Lou sarcastically that he hopes she's proud of what she's done. Cindy's dad says, if she isn't, I am. I'm glad he took our presents. And he says that the Grinch can't hurt Christmas because it isn't about the gifts, contests, or fancy lights. He says that's what Cindy's been trying to tell everyone, including him. And she's right. He hugs his family and says they're all he needs. And then all the other Who's embrace their families and each other as well.
Cindy takes the trash chute up to Mount Crumpet, and meanwhile at the top, the Grinch is trying to push the sleigh off the mountain and is excited to hear the Who's crying. But then what he hears isn't them crying, it's Mary singing. Every Who is holding hands and singing merrily without any presents at all. The Grinch puzzles over how Christmas still came, and then he realizes finally that Christmas isn't about the gifts. And then he has these chest pains from his heart growing, and he says, Max, help me, I'm feeling.
That's my favorite part too.
It's really cute. And the narrator says, some say his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Then the Grinch notices that the sleigh is slipping off the cliff and the presents will be destroyed, and also that he actually cares. So he leaps into the air, grabs onto the sleigh, and pulls. And when he can't pull the sleigh up, he kind of gives up and he says, it's just presents. But then Cindy Lou pops up from on top of the sleigh, on top of all of the presents, and she says, hi, Mr. Grinch. And she says she came to see him because no one should be alone on Christmas. And this warms his heart, you can tell. And then he digs into the snow and he gets super strength and he picks the entire sleigh up over his head, which is hilarious.
Then the Grinch, Cindy, and Max ride the sleigh down the mountain back to Whoville, and the sleigh gets out of control on the way and they can't stop. And Martha May and Cindy's mom try to stop the sleigh with a string of Christmas lights. Very smart. And her dad helps to stop it too. Then the Grinch comes clean to everyone that he stole Christmas and apologizes to everybody. Then Martha takes her engagement ring out of the Christmas sack on the sleigh and gives it back to the mayor. She says her heart belongs to someone else. And the Grinch gets very excited and prances all around. We should have got a sequel to this.
Oh my gosh, I would have
loved it. With the Grinch and
loved
Martha
it.
May.
She's so sweet to him and understanding of his like weird quirks.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It would have been cute. Then the Grinch joins Cindy and everyone else in singing Welcome Christmas around the Christmas tree. And at the big Who feast, the Grinch carves the roast beast with Martha May at his side and Cindy Lou beside him too. And then we zoom out of the snowflake, and that's the end of the movie.
Yay!
I love this one. It's so good.
Me too. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you're having such a festive week, and if you travel to be with family or if you're spending time with friends, I hope you have the best Christmas and just the best week ever. I know Hanukkah starts this week too. My husband is Jewish, so we're doing both.
Fun. What is like a fun combo tradition that you guys do?
Oh, well, we have always traveled back to Atlanta for the holidays, and now we live here. So we always do Christmas with my family, and then we do Hanukkah with Brian's family. One thing that we do every year, though, is we always go to the movies with both sides of our families. Everybody goes together, so that's always really fun because we get a row of like 10 people.
Combined. That used to be a family tradition of mine, too, was to go to the movies on Christmas morning.
Fun.
And watch whatever like big movie was out, whether it was Star Wars or something else.
That's really fun.
I love that it's like both sets of parents, though. That's great.
Yeah, I think the first year we moved to Denver, because it was COVID, or it was the end of COVID. I think maybe it was 2020. No, I guess that was 2020. So maybe we did it in 2021. I don't remember. But a bunch of movie theaters were running these specials where you could rent the movie theater. And so for our Christmas gift to both of our families, we rented a movie theater and we watched Elf with like the 10 of us at a studio movie grill. So we could like get food and drinks. It was so fun. And so since then, every year, just sometime around like Thanksgiving or Christmas, we all go together. So this year we're all going to see Wicked.
Okay, I had a feeling.
Which we're batching this episode early because I'm going to have a baby by Christmas, which is crazy. And so we're all going to see Wicked together. It's going to be really fun.
Oh my gosh, can't wait to hear about it. That is such a cute tradition. I love it. I would love to hear what you guys do for your holiday traditions too, because I don't know if you feel the same way, but now that, I'm an adult, I feel like an actual adult now that I'm about to be 30. And Robert and I are going to get married soon. And like, I'm just starting to think about, okay, what traditions do we make of our own now,
Mm-hmm.
And so I would love to know what you guys do.
What are you doing this year?
Going to visit family. We kind of take turns who we visit for the holidays. And so this year we're going to my dad. So I'm excited.
Fun. That'll be really fun.
Yeah. My mom usually gets Thanksgiving and then my dad gets Christmas, or Robert's parents get Christmas.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed all of our holiday episodes this year.
We had so much fun doing all of these seasonal episodes for you. I'm wondering what's going to happen in the new year because I'm like, what are January movies? I don't even know.
I know.
Winter
vibes. And some fun New Year's ones. We had you guys vote between 2 movies for our New Year's episode, and we had narrowed it down to Sleepless in Seattle or Bridget Jones's Diary, and we couldn't decide, and so we put it to you guys, and it was tied 50-50 like the entire day. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at What We're Watching Pod, because we love doing these polls with you guys and seeing what you guys want us to cover. So anyway, since it was so close, we're going to do both.
Yay.
Yeah, we're going to do Bridget Jones next week, and then we will do Sleepless in Seattle the week after.
So excited. Can't wait. Well, thank you so much for listening.
We hope you have a wonderful rest of your holidays and a happy new year, and we will be back very soon.
See you on January 1st, guys, 2025.
Bye.